gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today is Baron Redbeard. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Watching you struggle has been.
Yeah, apologies for the late start. Apparently today was the day that the internet decided that it didn't want me to go live on Facebook. So, anyways, thank you for coming on. Let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Uh, would like to know, how long have you been playing Amtgard?
Uh, Actively playing,
Yep.
14 years. Uh, been a part of the game probably closer to 20. Because I started. My parents brought me in when I was a child.
We're we're gonna dive into that a little bit. Apparently, your parents had to ask some questions this week. Uh,
Uh,
where does Redbeard's persona come from?
my persona, I kind of just made up over time. I've never been a big fan of the I'm I'm a king of this far off place, blah blah blah. It's like then when it comes time to play the game, uh, like, well, now you're just a guy, so
Yeah.
buckle up, buddy. Um, so I've kind of modeled myself as a ranger and a healer has always been my thing.
Cool, cool. Sir Francis has reached out in the chat. You've been playing since you were 4 years old.
Okay, so 22 years, my bad.
22 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then also, Sir Francis, you may know him, asked the question to go along with the persona. Do you remember where you got your moniker from?
So yes, actually, the name stems from my chubby child self drinking Kool-Aid with abandon, or with reckless abandon, I should say, and it running down my face and making a red beard for me.
Okay, that's a great place to get a persona name. We gotta appreciate that.
I don't
And
know
then
how young I was for that, by the way. I have no idea when that started. I just know that's the story that like created the name behind it.
right, and then of Ravensholm is Sir Francis's
Yeah,
carry on as well too. So awesome. We,
I did not pick that.
that's the story. That's how the story goes. You didn't pick that. Your
I
brother
picked
didn't pick
nothing.
his. Yeah,
I picked literally nothing.
your brother didn't pick his name either. And now we have Ant Snack. So we're here for it. Uh, the next question, of course, is which award or achievement are you most proud of receiving?
Um, I'm gonna sound kind of like a dick. I really don't care about awards in the game.
That's fair.
Uh, Honestly, probably the thing I'm most proud that I've achieved in the game is becoming Charles's squire. It's
Oh, Cersei. Yep. Okay.
he and I we're not the best friends on the planet, but he has been a solid mentor for me outside of my parents in this game for a long time,
Yep.
and has legitimately given me some solid real life advice as
Yeah,
well.
for sure. For sure. Shout out to Sir Sane. Doesn't usually get called out on this on KOK, but Sir Sane, there you go. You got a shout out. We'll also put in second place your fifth crown that you just received at Endrain this
Did
last
did
week.
did I get
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
congratulations.
yeah. In case you want to know how my online interactions go, I should
That's
answer
fine.
that question pretty well.
That's fine. We're all it's fine. It's fine. Morgan would like to know, what is your favorite battle game or battle game type?
I fucking love bridge battles and castle battles. They are. I love to play Archer.
Mhm.
Any class where I'm not, or any game where I'm not having to run across a field to retrieve all my stuff is the best. We fortunately do come from a park where people are pretty nice and will toss me back my stuff without me having to go get it. But God, is it great being able to just drop my arrows on the ground and stand there, be lazy.
Right. No, I have to give a shout out to our park for that because I remember there being 6 to 8 amp garters after a game helping you get your arrows picked up. And it wasn't every week, but almost.
Yeah. My apologies if you can hear my AC kicking on,
No.
but it's
I
summer in New Mexico, so
yeah, I've got 4 dogs in this house and AC's on, so it happens. Shout out to dogs. Here we go. We're gonna talk about dogs later, so there's a tie-in. Sir Alucard would like to know, what is your favorite class to play?
By far and large Archer. I mean,
Okay.
I started out playing healer, got to 6th level in it. I had a break around the time V8 started, and I did not feel like relearning a class that had a lot of rules shipped with it because Magic changed fairly drastically between V7 and V9, or V7 and V8. Getting ahead of
Makes
myself.
sense.
But Archer stayed. It changed, but it stayed mostly the same. So I was like, well, I'll jump back in with this, and then just kept doing it. And outside of Vanguard, I've also been.
Oh, here.
Are you frozen? Oh, there we go.
Right, I was. Now I'm not. Yeah.
But I've also been doing archery since I was.
Oh no.
Super young.
We're having some technical difficulties. It seems to be a KOK staple at this. Hopefully that'll just go over and we can get back.
I love the faces that it keeps freezing on.
Yeah, let's just get it stuck. Well, Redbeard, can you hear? Oh, you moved. Okay. All right.
You're the one who keeps freezing.
So, yeah, no, it's my internet, KOK viewers. I apologize. But you said Archer's your favorite class to play. So, yeah. Deverick would like to know, what's your favorite weapon set to fight with?
If I'm not using a bow, then it's the same combo I go to with every open weapon in a tournament is a sword and board. Mm-hmm. When I played healer, that's pretty much all I used. I did a lot of training with Anatole, Shion, Sane, and Ilmarin. There we go. That's his Vanguard name. Yep. His real name's Kyle. That's how I remember.
Well, that's great. Okay. That's the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's go to the 3K questions the KOK viewers have been asking since week 1. There has, of course, been modifications because some of this has been resolved. Sir Glenolf has asked Baldur, episode 1, for a toaster, and then it got expanded to a soda maker as well. Sir Glenolf has a toaster at my house that will be delivered to him at some point. How do you feel about this? And is the soda maker next?
I feel like I currently know where you live. And I know I can get there fairly quickly. And I bet that toaster could be mine in a relatively short amount of time.
Here I thought you were going to be the sweetest person in the world to be like, I'll take it to him. And you're like, no, I'll just take it.
It's mine now.
It's mine. All right. Well,
the kingdom needs a mailbox key, and you're the person who's got to receive it.
It's fair. Sir Glenolf, apparently there's some contention on if you're even going to get this toaster. It could end up in the Beard of Red from Ravensholm's hands. We'll figure that out. Still would like to know, what's your thoughts on bears?
I mean, my heraldry when I first started was a bear. Mm-hmm. 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 That, however, transitioned as I played the game more and decided it's not what I wanted.
That's fair. So points to bears. Got it. Okay.
In reality, I love bears. Mm-hmm. Never going to approach one because I'm not, looking to die.
Right. Who or what would you say is your favorite bear?
Probably black bears. Big fan.
Black bears? Okay.
Yeah.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica? Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ. I barely watched that show, and I now own 2 cats that are named after characters on that show.
All right. Is either Dwight?
It's Michael and Dwight. Those are my 2 cats.
Oh, here we go.
We adopted a set of brothers.
Points to cats. Okay. And Redbeard, do you believe that there could be bears on the moon?
I mean, the Russians made it there. Dragon, all bears on unicycles.
Oh, there we go. That's all Russia is. All right, shout out to Russia. What are your thoughts about Dragonspine getting a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
I mean, I'm down for the jacuzzi.
Yeah, there we go. Right. And would you allow bears in the pool and or jacuzzi?
I mean, I don't see why not.
That's even better. And there's been talk that Dragonspine could do calendars or KOK merch to fund this pool and or jacuzzi. What do you think we should do to fund it? Again, Dragonspine, this is a joke. We're not actually going to get a pool and or jacuzzi.
I mean, I can put together a pretty steamy calendar of Dragonspine men for you. I've got a photo of me in a purple bra that is to die for.
Well, okay. So alternate calendar is also on the table for a joke that we won't actually do because people get concerned about it. All right, let's get to your actual questions. Those were the 3 questions KOK viewers have been asking every week. Let's go to Sir Francis. Sir Francis would like to know, what is it like growing up in Amtgard?
It's been a weird mix, quite honestly. I've met a lot of truly amazing people. Some probably a decent chunk of whom have been are watching this right now. I've had some very bad interactions as well. One of the highlights to me of growing up in Amtgard was our implementation of the COC. Just based on some of my interactions with people.
Sure.
While I've met a lot of good people, I've met a lot of creepy people who, in my opinion, don't have any business being around our game. And having our solidified go away is really nice.
Yeah.
But it's been overall a very positive experience. I've met, like I said, just tons of great people. Randall, Azrael Jade, obviously you, Sane, people who helped me not just, progress in Amtgard, but have helped me progress my real life and grow up a bit too.
That's awesome. Well, the next question would come from the other half of Sir Francis, Dame Annabelle Lee. Why is your mom so nice?
So I've probably cussed already, but I'm about to do it again.
Spoilers.
She had to put up with me and 2 brothers, and we are all fucking assholes. I'm not the most charismatic guy on the planet, but I can get my brothers to follow me to do some of the dumbest stuff you possibly can.
That's fair.
And Francis, who spent a good chunk of my childhood mobilized in the army.
Yep.
So that left her raising us pretty much by herself. And I would have jumped off that ship long ago. I'd have gone out for cigarettes and never come back.
Well, and all 3 of you are healthy men, adults at this point. So
we're healthy, we're stable. One of us gave her 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
One of us gave her cats.
Yeah. I feel like that answers the question pretty thoroughly. I mean, she is the den mother of most of the new Amtgarders in the area. So we've asked you a question from your mom in real life, your dad in real life, and now Sir Francis is back with the bigger question: is do you or did you ever feel like you were held back because of your active family in Amtgard?
So, how much does this mean? Very much so. Not because my parents did it, but because it was common for stuff I did to be overlooked. And like I said, I wasn't looking for awards. But if you're in Dragonspine and you've eaten a Dragonspine feast, for years, there's a good chance I had a solid hand in making it or helping make it. I have been organizing our Ren Fair stuff for a long time. I've done a lot of side work for them, but because it's their event, it usually tends to be an attitude of like, oh well, Francis accomplished this or Annabelle Lee accomplished this.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I'm not terribly upset by it is, like I said, I'm not looking for awards, so having my parents thank me was always good enough.
Mm-hmm.
If she's watching this, I don't know if she is, but shout out to Larissa, who at one point, that's why I'm a Baron now. I was like, oh hey, this dude's been doing stuff for for close to 2 decades, and no one has said a word about it up to this point.
No, that's good. It's good that you feel like, even though it was a yes, it was something that was happening, that um, it didn't matter. But
I,
if
yeah, that's the thing is like if you're not, I've never been one. I don't care about the ascension in this game very much. To me, it's a game. It's my hobby. It's not a job.
Mhm.
Like every award feels great. It's a good moment of gratitude, but it's also not a everything I'm doing depends on this.
Mhm.
It's a cool. You guys said thanks. Have a good day. Um, I'm I'm belittling our game a little too much, but it's. I feel like people do tend to get way too wrapped up in some of this stuff and
Sure.
forget that at the end of the day, our main goal is to have fun. We're here to play a game.
Mhm.
We play wacky bats all the time. Well,
Preach.
and I feel like some people get in their heads about that and they're like, no, I want to be in control of the wacky bats. And it's like, no, just go out and have fun with your friends. Stop getting in your own head.
True. Very true. Last question in this section from Sir Francis. He wants to know, what changes moving forward would you implement to help others who were brought in the same way you were? So, example, Xander the Reaper, Dom has Colt, Nakia. I have Ethan. Jacob and Beth have Arthur. That's the next generation of second generation players, a minimum second generation players. What are you going to do about that?
Real quick, shout out to Cole. That's my page. Uh, um, one of the biggest things is teaching them that it's not an obligation.
Mhm.
My first big break from Amtgard came because it felt like an obligation, not like a thing I was doing for fun.
Sure.
When your game becomes a chore, it becomes a lot less fun.
That's fair.
And the other big thing is reminding parents in general that the park is not there to babysit.
Mhm.
We might help out. It's always nice when people help out. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your children and they're going to look to you. A complete stranger telling them like, hey, stop eating dirt, or hey, don't put, my arrow in your mouth. They might just blow that person off.
Yep.
They're going to look to their parents for an answer. I was very fortunate. My parents are pretty attentive, or were. I guess I'm not a. I'm 26.
They
I
still
guess
watch.
they can still watch me if they want. But it's a lot of stuff like that. And also, I'm a big fan of coming up with kids events.
Mhm.
One of the things that when I first started going to clan with my dad, uh, the Kids Quest was so fun.
Yep.
It was maybe 5 or 6 guys just volunteering to be goofballs for kids for an hour or two.
Mhm.
But I've been to a decent number of clans, and the ones I remember best are when I was kids doing that. Like those are all of the memories I have.
Uh, just running through the chat real quick before we move on to the next question. Uh, Damarisol Jade reached out and said, "You still might need adult supervision." So it's there.
I mean,
Anyway,
if I can side tangent really quick,
I'm sure. Sure.
I work as a driver all day, and the other day I was trying to make a right turn into an area where both Dame Azrael Jade and I both live. Like we live really close to each other.
Hmm.
And I saw a white Jeep coming and I saw its turn signal come on and I was like, oh, that's her. She's not gonna blow past this turn. She's a good driver. She's gonna make this turn. And so I went. I bet all of my money on that being her and her being safe. The Jeep slammed on its brakes and honked at me. I almost got T-boned hard. And then immediately remembered that she has not been driving for a while now.
Yeah.
And so I almost died on my trust of her.
Well, I mean, if that's a way to go, that is the way. Trust in friends and whatnot. Back on track. Still would like to know. You did mention playing healer as your other to archer, and you have 6 levels in it. But is there another class besides archer that you like to play that, let's say, isn't healer?
I like scout.
Okay.
But however, I do have a bad tendency of essentially playing that as archer with heals. And the ability to ignore somebody's spell for a minute.
Devrick, are you listening? There it is.
I'm not a big fan of warrior at the moment, but that might be because I don't have the armor to back up 90% of the abilities of that class.
Yep.
I do love wizard. I've been leveling it at every event where I don't have to play it to get credit. So I'm like a 5th level wizard, and I've played wizard twice. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I love doing it. It's so great. I just take a fistful of force ball or whatever it is and just lob them at people like a lunatic.
give me all the force bolts, and I'm just gonna run around a crazy person. That sounds legit.
Here's shove and force bolt. Let's go.
Yep, I believe I've rocked it. Court would agree. Nothing but shove, and that's it. Just play a nothing but shove.
The second time I played, I took nothing but shove and a sword.
It's the best. Still has another question. What do you wish people knew more about archery? Or archer. Sorry, archer. More of the class.
Okay, so specifically archer and Amtgard. The thing I wish people knew the most is that Amtgard archery and real archery are very different.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I competed in archery competitions. I have a few medals in my parents' basement still. Transitioning to Amtgard archery was drastic.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because of the game and all that stuff, but because you're firing something with a significant amount of weight on the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have to be concerned about the people around you. I've seen a lot of bad arrow builds. I've seen a lot of face shots that shouldn't have been. I've seen a lot of full draw shots from 2 feet away. And I am super big on safety. My arrows don't go to the park unless they've been shot at me. And why it's one of those, like, A, learn that it's different. B, learn that because it's different, you need to be you need to be super safe with it, because a busted arrow can still do a lot of damage. A 35-pound bow at a 28-inch draw is still a lot of force to get hit with, whether you've got a penny blunt or a washer at the end of it.
Yeah. And secondly, don't try to jump the arrow.
Hey, you might get hit in the crotch.
It only happens to me once or twice a month. It's not a big deal.
If I aim center mass, I mean, learn your lesson, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep trying to jump over it. One day I'll be tall enough to walk over it. It'll be great. Still, next question about archery is: where's a good place in Dragonspine Las Cruces to learn archery?
So this is going to coincide with the question of, of that last question is there's no good place to go in Las Cruces to fire arrows that are completely different than amped guard or than real arrows. I've got a set of I think it's like 30 like actual target arrows because I still do archery on the side from time to time. And you can learn regular archery and it'll teach you a lot of the basics. We've got the archery hut here in town. There's a public course here in town up off of Loman and Sonoma Ranch. And that'll teach you, how to shoot an arrow, how to hold a bow, stuff like that. But the best way to learn is to go to a park with a fistful of amp guard arrows and just start shooting. Start shooting at a shield, start shooting at a friend. Sometimes if I'm bored, I've taken a hula hoop and gone to a park and just rolled it and tried to fire as many arrows as I can through the hoop before it falls.
Dragonspine has Dragonspine has the privilege now of having the Quidditch rings that I made during one of my reigns as the Monarch. Also, thank you for spoiling my Triwizard tournament by not answering the riddles.
I mean, they were stupid riddles, so I asked better riddles. I don't know which one for me here.
Sorry. So I'm probably frozen again. Yep. Am I frozen still?
I see you moving now.
Did you happen to hear my awesome burn on the Triwizard tournament that you ruined?
Oh yeah, no. I made fun of you for it. Oh, there we go again.
No.
That's good.
Struggling hard here. Struggling. Well, man. Oh, this internet is struggling today for sure.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I've been laughing for a good while now.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna bide time. You're back. You're back. Am I back? I'm back. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why this internet is struggling so hard today.
I can actually consistently hear
okay,
you.
So oh, good. So I'm just talking to myself. Maybe KOK viewers, if you hear me talking to myself and I'm mumbling, but you just don't see me moving, let me know and I'll just keep talking. And I'll ask all the questions before Redbeard can answer them, and then we'll have to do that again. Anyways, Stillhet would like to know again. How do you feel about the recent lift of the quarantine and opening to play in Dragonspine?
So I'm still pretty hesitant about it. But there is enough general interest at the park that I'm in charge of that I don't mind setting it up, going out there with you guys and doing stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm vaccinated. I'm a medical courier, so that stuff had to happen pretty quick. So I don't mind reopening. I do like that she gave a lot of discretion to local monarchs. Mm-hmm. Like with our park, I'm going to be making this announcement here soon, but if you're watching right now, if you want to come play with us, vaccination cards are going to be required. Your vaccine card has a lot less info on it than your waiver does. And so I'm content with it as long as we are strict with our enforcement.
Okay.
And that sounds super mean. I very much will be very strict with it.
That makes sense.
I myself have asthma. I'm not interested in finding out just how effective my vaccine is.
For sure. And KOK breaking news here. Dragonspine Las Cruces will be open for Saturday game. Vaccination cards will be required, along with the Kingdom's mandates on the temperature check, I would assume.
No, that's the other thing is tomorrow I'm going to go pick up what are they called? The gun thermometer. I don't know what to call it off the top of my head.
The gun thermometer sounds fantastic. adore that as a term. Let's use that. Uh, so this is one of the questions that's been held on to for a couple episodes of KOK. For anyone who was watching last week, we had to cut KOK short, so I skipped a couple questions because of a giant hailstorm that hit Shroud Star. So we're going to hit some of them today, including Sir Smiley's test, which will be in the most difficult of questions. We call them the funny questions. But Redbeard, who is your top 10 amp garters and why?
It's gonna sound so bad because most of them are from my own park. Randall. I feel Randall has done a lot for this game and caught a lot of crap in the process of it.
Yeah.
And he still does a lot for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Azrael Jade, kind of in that same vein.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched her bust her ass over and over again to make things happen for people because they don't want to do it themselves,
mm-hmm.
and then get mad when it wasn't done the way they wanted it done.
Sure.
Which is absurd. Guess I should throw my own knight in there.
Yeah, Sir Randall has your list prepped for you. Sane, 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 also, or and sane, also sane.
He is probably consistently one of the most positive people at our park.
Mm-hmm.
I am by nature a fairly pessimistic person. There's a lot of sarcasm that people get from me.
Yep.
So having someone there who kind of counterbalances that with constant positivity is probably good. I haven't seen her in a while, but Ren, my Squire sister, even though she's not a squirrel, I'm not dealing with her argument. She's not on Facebook, I don't care. It's always nice having someone around who's as positive, or not as positive, she's a lot like me, but someone who remembers that it's a game and is willing to just go out there and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should include both of my parents.
That would get you to 6.
Outside of raising me in my gloriousness, I have watched both of them do a lot just to keep basic things running.
Yep.
I've watched my father, who, like I said, spent a lot of time deployed, pour a lot of his free time into helping this game be better than it was before,
mm-hmm.
which I always find to be a fairly impressive feat. Because a man who I would watch work insane shifts and then just come home and be like, all right, well, now I'm going to go to a BOD meeting. And it's like, that sounds fucking awful. Anatole.
There you go.
Anatole has always been very welcoming to me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a lot of the wheel in general have been that way. Mm-hmm. And having someone who is at the drop of a hat willing to teach anyone that he comes across how to fight better, or if they don't necessarily want to be the best, how to fight in a way that will keep them having fun instead of just getting smashed over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go into a few people I really haven't had too many interactions with. He's actually not an amp garter anymore, so I feel bad, but Goldcrest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have not had too many interactions with him, but everyone I've had, he was at the time thinking about how he could just constantly keep progressing this game. Somebody I've literally never met. What am I, like 7, 8?
That was 8, yeah.
Okay. I've literally never met them in person, as far as I know, and I really only know his real life name on Facebook is Dalen Delgado. Dalen Delgado. I might be mispronouncing that.
Okay.
I watched him be a pretty continuous voice on progressing not just our game, but a lot of the social values that get brought to this game.
Mhm.
And we're at the end of the day, while we are a game and the goal is to have fun, we're also a community. And he's been in terms of speaking out against some of the stuff he's been a fairly courageous person, and I commend him for that. Jesus Christ, who else?
Come on, you gotta know more. You gotta know the 9 people. There's gotta be.
I actually know a significant number of people, and I'm drawing a blank on their names. I'll give a shout out to him because his kid is my page. Dom. Dude is always down to run a game.
Mhm.
I've never heard him say no at all. And it's always nice having someone out there who's willing to come up with something in a few minutes, balance a game pretty damn well.
Yep.
For, like, in our case, our park has a very large fighting gap. We have we have at least one of, in my opinion, the top fighters in our game at our park.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's able to balance us out and make the game interesting is still always really fun. That's 9. I'm gonna toss in. I'm gonna go 11, I guess. Larissa, even though, as far as I know, she hasn't played in a while, she did a lot for this game, especially coming in as a new player. She dedicated a lot of time and energy into this game right out of the gate, and really brought a lot of enthusiasm that you don't see as often in newer players. It's something I've seen pretty rarely in you and in her.
No.
And he comes out from time to time, but Gravedigger.
Yeah.
As I watched him as Monarch of the Kingdom, he was living with me at the time. But watching him dedicate a lot of his time, and B, actually give a damn about people beyond his core group of friends, because I see that as a problem a lot in Monarchs. Is like, well, this is what the 5 people I care about think. I don't care what any of the rest of you have to say. So
Yep.
watching him sit there and listen to just so many people and actually hear them out was super impressive.
Well, shout out to you for being able to name 10 amp garters like that on the spot, because again, that's a question that wasn't there for you to study on. I kind of threw it at you. I'll throw an easy one at you this time. This is a Cato original. Guy loves this question. To flurb or to not to flurb?
I don't do it at all. I really don't. More props to you if you've got that in you, but I'm there to shoot.
That's fair.
It might sound super mean, but I've sat there and watched someone go on their monologue for a while, like let them finish it, and then just literally shot them in the chest right after it, and that was the funniest thing in my eyes. So I was at a clan a few years back where someone gave me their speech on how they were going to destroy me, and I was like, As soon as they finished, I shot them.
All right. So Still Huts back and would like to know, what is your favorite rain theme that you've been part of?
That is a difficult question, actually. I actually really liked our Lord of the Rings theme rain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you were a part of our kingdom at the time.
No. Nope.
But we had a map where we were conquering lands. I did 0 prep work and made armbands for my team as we were the White Hand. I can't remember the
orcs?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bad guys. I can't remember if it's Saruman or Sauron. I'm mixing up names right now.
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings. You could say anything, right?
I did 0 research. I bought some black burlap, and put white hands on it that turned pink because the white did not blend with the burlap dye very well.
I love it.
I also joined a team that at the time had like 3 active players, and by the end of the game, we were one of the dominant teams.
Right?
We lost. I think we lost to another team, but it was just nice watching a team go from 3 active players to one of the leading teams over the course of a whole reign.
That's awesome. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Stillhat just stepped into office. Is our new queen. Would like to know, what do you want to see out of a monarch?
I do want to see a lot of actual engagement. I've seen it a lot over the past few reigns. And so by extension, I do very much want to. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who is happy to be there and who is actually there. I get real life comes up, but this is one of those things where it's, if you want to lead, what are we at, like 8 parks?
Yeah. Well, 9.
9. Oh, yeah. If you want to lead 9 parks, you definitely need to want to show up for it. It's why I was a big fan of opening us up to a floating crown, because I want it to be people who are enthused to be there, not just the same 4 or 5 people
Yeah, for
who
sure.
are steadily burning out on doing the job.
Yeah, agreed. No, it's I think we've had a lot of success with the floating crown. And I guess the question does leave room for, you're the current sheriff of Dragonspine Las Cruces. You're eventually not going to be the sheriff. Maybe you will be. Maybe you'll be a perma sheriff forever. So Randall would probably back that decision, actually. What would you expect to see out of the next leader of our park?
Of our park, as we're reopening, because this I didn't do a lot of posting on our public page. I was talking a lot directly to you guys, the people who are physical members of my park. I really want someone who's going to come in with the same idea of, for a little while, people aren't going to want to come back in person.
Sure.
I know for a fact we have more than one immunocompromised person at our park. And I don't want them to feel excluded just because, they don't feel safe. I've spent the last year with pretty constant anxiety. And if I wasn't vaccinated right now and they asked me like, hey, are you going to be there for park open? I would have told you guys now.
Yeah, of course.
But that's one of the things I'm looking for. I'm also looking for someone who wants to expand our park again. We used to be one of the largest parks in our kingdom. We've lost numbers, as some of our members. Well, our biggest problem is our members move. They go to college here and then they go somewhere else.
Yep. Yeah.
And I kind of want us to get us back to those numbers.
Sure. Yeah, I know. I was the Duke and the Baron and watched that decline, and then we became a Shire, and I was like, I tried, but it's hard. So
I'll say for the moment, I am happy with us being a Shire. It's giving me time to get us caught back up on some of the stuff that we've been not necessarily neglecting, but that weren't huge priorities.
Yeah.
Like I've been in the past few months, I've been digitizing our park ledgers. I'm about to create a physical sign-in sheet for all of us so that we can start doing our COVID stuff and include our temperatures on it. So it's one of those things where we're small right now, and that's probably for the best while we get our core problems readdressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. All right, Redbeard, that was the first set of questions. That was more looking into you and your likes and dislikes. Now we're going to get a little philosophical, a little in-depth here. This is a question that Shroudstar asked a couple weeks ago to Baron Art, and I wanted to keep it. If you could create a ladder award in Amcard that doesn't already exist, what would it be and what would you call it?
So this might tie into some of the later questions, I imagine.
Maybe.
I do think it's odd that one of the biggest aspects of our game does not lead to knighthood in any way.
Okay.
I would create a ladder award for progressing to knighthood through battle games. I've seen a lot of names thrown out there for it. Personally, I go something along the lines of Games Master or Battle Master. Because I saw somebody throw out War Master and I was like, no, that's a tournament.
Yep. Okay.
But
Morgan would like to know, what is your favorite event and why?
my favorite event, like my favorite event in general, or my favorite event I've ever been to? Those are different questions.
Let's say the favorite event you've ever been to.
My favorite event I've ever been to, I don't think even exists anymore. I think we called it Banner Wars, and it used to be held at Sir Glenough's family property. And I started a battle game out there by myself. And it was the big game of the weekend. And by the end of it, I had joined a team and we won. And everyone had a blast. I didn't hear a negative thing about the game outside of walking far was kind of a problem. Favorite event in general is probably Gathering of the Clans, though I would like to see a name change there. This kind of goes back to growing up in Amtgard. Telling someone like, yeah, I'm going to clan for my summer usually was followed with a lot of explanation of, no, I'm not. No, I'm not a white supremacist. This is a LARP thing. It references Scottish history. You usually don't get to the point where you get to tell people that it's referencing history of some sort.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. So the next question we have here is, where do you think the kingdom would be without the efforts of our rows or our crown paths?
We would be up a creek without a paddle. The people who have dedicated themselves to that path do a lot more than they get credit for on a regular basis. I know several Flame Knights, I know several Crown Knights. And without those people, this game would have died.
Sure.
There's a lot to be said about, hey, let's play and have fun. But a lot of people who forget the aspects of, well, who's going to organize this play? Who's going to check things for this play? Who's going to make sure our play is safe? And so those two play a crucial role into keeping our game running.
Sure.
And this isn't to crap on two other belts. But yeah, if we didn't have the best fighter in the game, we'd still have the game.
Yep.
If we all showed up in t-shirts and jeans, we wouldn't look great, but the game would still be there.
Right.
But if you subtract the people who organize those games and who prepare things for those games, we're just a bunch of jackasses in the park in funny costumes.
Yeah. But we look great.
Yeah, we look amazing.
All right. So another carryover question. It's one of my favorites. It's one I've kept on here. If you could change one rule in Amtgard right now, what would it be and why?
Oh, God. That is actually a difficult question.
That's what we're here for.
I'm probably going to make some people mad on this. I would change our arrow rules.
Okay.
I've looked at the build options for some of our counterparts. And while I like arrows that fly better and fly faster, our arrows are a lot less safe than some of these other games.
That's fair. That's fair. So Aerotech is, you found a way to get archery into every section of the KOK.
Goddamn
episode.
right, I'm going to keep doing it. That's what we're here for.
Kato, question number 2 that he's been asking pretty frequently, so I've just kept it on the list. What are your thoughts on back shields?
Like using it as an effective shield or just having one on your back?
So So a little backstory here for people who haven't watched every episode. Kato wants a back shield. He's suggested that there could be a monster class that's connected to it where a back shield exists. He's suggested that we could at one point just legalize having a shield on your back and count it as armor. Um, Kato is also the second best beard in the beard competition. I am winning that. But how do you feel? How do you feel about the idea of back shields?
God, no, not at all. That is
God,
an
no,
objective.
no. God, no, 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 no.
Balancing that is a nightmare and a half. This is as like as somebody who's super into Sword and Board, and who followed the transition of V7 to V8. People are going to look for every gray area of that they can and try and exploit it.
Yep. For sure.
If you want to strap your shield to your back, hey, put your defense on your back, like, and make it ineffective. I'm not going to stop you.
Right.
But if you want to make that into an active block, I'll see you in hell first. That's
all right. Okay. So I'm sorry. Still has the question. How do you feel about the paladin and anti-paladin opening discussion? And anyone who's paying attention, the V9 team just put out a survey with this stuff in there. So if you have opinions, you should go do that survey. Go ahead.
I think I've done that survey yet. I should do that. I am all for opening them up. They are two of what I would consider the most iconic fantasy classes. And when you have a new person come up and, well, like I said, I'm personally not the guy who's like, I'm a lord or a knight from wherever the hell. That's a lot of people who are going to show up. And when you tell them like, hey, you know, this thing that is legitimately the stereotype of fantasy, you are the guy in shining armor, you don't get to do that. You need a minimum. I don't know what the fastest knighting in this game has been, but I'm going to say a minimum of 3 years or 2 to 3 years of investment.
Probably, yeah.
Before you can play a class that is A, iconic, and B, underpowered. And we sit there and we tell everyone like, oh, well, it's a reward for becoming a knight. And it's like, well, if it's a reward, why does it suck? Everything those two classes do, other classes do better.
That's fair.
And if we're going to make them suck, or if we want to balance them, I'm all for opening that up. I mean, create a balanced class, let people have fun. Once again, it's a game. So
I'm going to find my soapbox because I'm starting to do this every week now when we talk about paladin and anti-paladin. Open them up, fine. I was against it at the COM, fine. Open them up. But every class, give a perk to a knight playing it and a paragon playing it, but make those two separate perks.
I'm okay with that. Do that.
Hey!
I just hit my blinds. Do that. I am 100% okay with that. Give them an actual reward for knighthood. But don't say, hey, this is your reward. You can wear a chain, you can wear spurs, and you can play a class that sucks.
That's fair. Wonjo, if you're listening, that is my recommendation. And if it goes through, I want full credit for it. Okay, sorry, Redbeard, you were saying.
But yeah, no, that sounds like a fantastic solution to a problem I keep hearing about. And then I legitimately hate the, well, it's tradition argument. That's the weakest argument you could possibly fall back on.
Sure. So Sir Francis is in the chat and wants to make sure where you stand on preserving the white and black phoenix.
When it comes to that I've never understood the whole hullabaloo around it. Like, it doesn't make.
Oh, okay.
Like, I get, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool symbol for a very exclusive group. Cool. Then make that a perk. Paragons have their own specific sash style. Let knights have their own cool thing for their classes. You want to be a
Okay.
knight who's an archer? Put on an orange phoenix. I don't care.
Ooh. Orange Phoenix. I'm here for an Orange Phoenix.
Uh, I mean, obviously, the only problem I foresee with that is Warlord and
Yeah.
the yellow.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of choices out there.
Well, right. I think the point that we could make here is if you can create a sash that is the color, and then you can put like a almost like a patch or something, or an elastic thing over the top of it, so that you're denoting, hey, not only am I playing this class, but I'm also a knight, or I'm also a paragon. So
Yeah,
outside of the class, I have these little perks that make the class a little different.
I'm gonna pre-warning on this. I am in no way a vet or a veteran.
Hmm.
But I did ROTC in high school, and one of the things that we did was if you've earned a ribbon or an award multiple times, we had little lamps that go on it, and the actual military, I believe, just does stars,
Hmm.
and it just signifies like not only am I this, but I've earned it again and again. I've proven what I am. We can do something similar to that. Put a phoenix on your sash. Prove like, hey, this is not only am I playing whatever I'm playing, I'm a knight. I've got these extra perks. Hey,
Yep.
not only am I whatever class, but I'm a paragon of this class.
Hmm.
I am what you should aspire to be in this class.
Right. I mean, we established that a paragon sash is different, right?
Yeah,
So the next part of that is you take two pieces of Velcro on a piece of cloth and put a phoenix on that cloth, and then you just Velcro it across your sash, and now you're saying, hey, I'm playing this class. I have the knight perk. If
yeah,
you have a silver striped sash, hi, I'm a paragon in this class,
yeah,
and
exactly.
okay. So the question that you mentioned earlier, and it's the last one before we get to the most serious of questions, is the funny questions. What about a fifth path to knighthood? And you said battle games.
Um, I am very much for it. Uh, it's like I said, it's super weird to me that what is legitimately the biggest part of our game uh, doesn't lead to what we consider one of our highest titles. And I can argue all
Yeah,
day about I don't care if you're a knight or not, but
yeah,
um, it's we have them for tournaments. We have them for just basic fighting. Why
mhm,
would we not have it for the thing that like 90% of our rule book is dedicated to?
right,
Don't get
right.
me wrong. I think it's going to be a complicated process. I'm personally all for the I feel we should make Paragon relevant.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like something we just throw at people because, well, you played this class for so long.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel it should be a decent. I feel 3 Paragons, 1 Martial, 1 Magic, and 1 of your choice would be a good way to go about doing it if we made Paragon relevant again.
Right.
Um, make Paragon great again. Uh,
I'm, I apologize to the KOK viewers and to you, Redbeard, but Serranal has decided that what I was suggesting was replacing knighthood with Velcro, and that wasn't necessarily what I was saying, but um,
I mean, if you want to show up in a dope Velcro white belt, I I encourage that. Do it.
but to get back to your point, battle games would so since the Griffin is not connected to a ladder award right now, would you consider Griffins masks for ladder awards towards that, and then your masterhood being a paragon in a class?
So I'm gonna sound kind of like I said. I'm gonna sound kind of mean here. I don't think masks now.
Okay.
Good role play is a good part of the game, but that doesn't mean you're good at the game.
Sure.
I've met a lot of amazing role players who don't know the rules, don't know how to play their class very well,
Hmm.
who honestly I think should deserve to be master masks in my eyes, but I wouldn't look to that guy to be a knight.
Okay.
Um, Griffin, if we got a lot more specific with its definitions.
Sure.
I feel like it's a pretty misunderstood award and often gets given out for stuff that isn't under what it's supposed to be.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it's kind of a catch-all for battle games at this point.
Hmm. And I
Um,
think that's kind of where it's at though too is um, to create a new belt you have to create ladder awards
yeah,
because suggesting if you have a melee and a magic paragon and then an additional paragon, well in Dragonspine paragons aren't something that's given out as much, so that could be the hardest path to get in the most consistently used part of our game, which is battle games. So
yeah.
no.
Um, my argument to that is pretty much the same thing. Is like, well, we've bumped up against that problem with every belt.
Hmm.
The guy who founded this game, uh, he technically would qualify for Crown. I don't know. I don't know what awards he has. I don't pay enough attention to him. But yeah, he'd obviously qualify for Crown at a bare minimum. There are people who would qualify for Sword, if they started towards the beginning of this game. But if we were to look at them now, we could go like, listen, you're technically qualified for this, but that doesn't mean you deserve it.
Sure.
I've over the 2 decades essentially, I have seen our games fighting progress from pretty basic to pretty goddamn intense. We have a lot of competition in our fighting in this game.
Hmm.
Dragonspine has, I'd say, 3 of the top 10 fighters in the game.
Yeah, in the top 10 somewhere, yeah, for sure.
And looking at them, and then if you were to put them up against Sword Knights from some of these previous eras, yeah, some of them have kept up. But if you were to go, hey, here's a Sword Knight who stopped playing in 95, go fight that guy.
Hmm.
Shion's gonna wipe the floor with him. Shion's gonna win minimum of 8 fights out of 10.
Well, and that's even the best case scenario where we're taking old school at the
Yeah,
time that they did it versus the current person at the time that they're doing it. Just saying that the game's evolved.
yeah.
It's more complex.
You're gonna need to go on a case by case basis, and that's how it has always been for Knights.
Hmm.
I've heard time and time again from Knights, well, I'm looking for that wow factor, not just that you've met our base requirements, but what separates you
Hmm.
from everyone else? What makes you special? What makes you a knight?
Hmm.
And yeah, we can do that again with another thing.
Sure.
It's not like, oh, well, this park has been giving out paragons for fucking 15 years now. Everyone who's got their 3 paragons, knight. No, look at them, evaluate them, figure out if they deserve it. We're not just going to blindly go in and start throwing white belts at people.
That's fair. We're not going to do that. That's fair. Okay, Redbeard. The most serious of questions have arrived. We have gotten to the funny questions, and we're going to start off with a banger here. What is it like to be so handsome that the rest of us mortals shed tears in your presence?
Listen, I saw who wrote that question. I read it. That man is better looking than me by far. I have no idea what he's talking about. I look like a background character in a B movie.
But number one in our hearts, Redbeard. Come on.
I'm able to evaluate my own appearance. I know what I am. If my fiance walked out that door, which she did a little while ago, by the way, I would not in the slightest be surprised.
Okay. Moving on. Still, I would like to know, how does your beard have to? Wow. How
I think it's
red?
how red does it? Yeah.
How red does your beard have to be a red beard? Sorry, Stillhead.
I'm not sure how clear my video quality is. I'm seeing myself on a tiny screen.
Hmm.
Answer is not very. Look at me. The only red hair I've got on my body is my leg hair in the summer or in the sunlight. It's ridiculous.
That's fair.
I'm belted to a man who's got way redder hair than I do.
Yeah, yeah. I love
I got chug Gatorade, guys. You live in a desert. You'll eventually get that red beard.
it. Works. I feel like I've got more red, but it's not red. It's just lighted brown. Anyways, are you a brown coat?
So I'm about to make some people sad. I did no background research on that question. But I think I've heard some of my friends say it before. I'm guessing it's a Firefly thing.
Yeah. That's what it would be.
I hate Firefly.
Mother, what?
I actually don't like most things Joss Whedon.
Oh, well, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak.
I believe
how
I'm
dare
ruining
you?
some people's day. I know I'm to the point where the only things I care about out of Firefly are I love Alan Tudyk. I would die for that man.
Wow, shots fired. Wait a minute. Did you know what you were saying when you said that?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I won't take offense.
I've seen clips of the show. I guess I'm going to spoil I don't know how old it is. Like at least 10 years as far as I know.
Yeah.
He dies, guys.
And I have not once watched that after watching the show and not cried. Tough.
Because someone's like top saddest scenes in nerd history, and I was like, I have no emotional resonance with this at all. I love Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
Or as my fiance calls him, Castle is the only name she knows him by. I don't know if I could name a single other actor.
Ron Glass. Summer Glow.
Oh yeah, I guess Summer.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, I could give two shits about that show.
Okay, fine. We're moving on.
Or what is it? Uncancel Firefly. Yeah, keep it out there.
Okay. So Smiley would like to know, what's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Green.
Fair.
A color I really don't have. My heraldry is blue and black. I don't wear green often. But
favorite.
I played Legend of Zelda a lot as a kid, and I love that green tunic. It's so great. And that kind of sparked it.
Okay. One of my personal favorite questions in the funny section: who would play you in a live action Amtgard movie?
Oh dear God. Who is the blandest actor on the planet?
Well, bland in a good way, or
it's just like you see him walk by and you're like, I think I've seen that guy 1,000 times, and they just move on.
Oh man. I'll take a shout out from the crowd for this one. Who's playing Redbeard? Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's the first one that popped
up. Man, I don't want to necessarily support him, but I guess Tom Cruise, he and I are like the same height.
That's fair. You also got a Paul Rudd shout out in here.
I can live with Paul Rudd. He's like a foot taller than me, but I'll take it.
A shout out here for Ryan Reynolds.
Listen, I would shoot everyone I know for that man if he asked me to do it.
I agreed before you said the statement, and now I regret my my agreeing. But anyways, now we're in that movie. You're being played by multiple actors. Maybe there's a change in between the first and second movie. But what's the theme song to that movie?
I get it. The song's popping into my head. Not the best. Shout out to my dad for ruining me on music. Uh, Probably War by the Congos.
Okay.
Or Come
Uh,
With Me Now. I don't know. I can't
co-
remember what the actual name of the song is now.
sure.
But I used to listen to it a lot, and some people have spotted me at the park with an earbud in my ear, listening to music while I play. Because my favorite part of every movie is the score.
Yeah. Well, there it is. The movie where it sounds like the consensus is Paul Rudd is getting more than one vote. So,
Uh, I can live with that.
okay. All right. Still, I would like to know what's your favorite Amp conspiracy and real life conspiracy?
Oh God. Ben is gonna hate me for this. I have seen so many insane things said about Randall and how he is secretly running all of Amtgard.
Hmm.
Everyone bows to his will.
Yep.
I've actually voted against the guy. He and I are still, he and I are still good.
Good.
Good God, I've been in his home.
That's fair.
But Jesus, the number of people who are like, he's running the government from the shadows, and it's like, what are you talking about? I saw that man lose his shit over a pair of sunglasses last week. He's not doing anything from the shadows. Let's be real.
Uh,
uh, that same guy who's running the government is bribing me with cinnamon bites from Taco Bell.
yeah.
Let's settle down.
He is walking around with a big smile on his face, offering us Cinnabites, and it's fantastic.
It's so absurd when you actually meet the person. It's like, no, he just cares about watching things happen that need to happen. He doesn't. He Ben probably doesn't care about the mundane aspects of most other kingdoms. As long as the game he loves is thriving and having fun,
Yeah.
he's good. Um, my favorite real life conspiracy. Um, I'm gonna say this. I get mad at a lot of conspiracies. Like I get angry.
I know.
You can see me in my car losing my shit on a fairly regular basis because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of books. I listen to a lot of news. And sometimes I just hear some of the most absurd shit on the planet. One of which my current favorite of me kind of going insane is listening to people spout bullshit about a vaccine that they do not understand. They're not qualified to understand. And some of the people who are qualified to understand it are pulling numbers and stats out of their asses, and it's great. It's great watching a lunatic just spout absurd shit or ask you questions that you're also not qualified to answer.
Sure.
In deciding to participate in our park reopening, like I said, I work as a medical courier. I'm in 20 to 30 doctors' offices a day, including the hospitals. I've spoken to a lot of doctors in our city about whether or not they think it's a good idea. And most of them have told me, as long as you keep it below a certain threshold, you're fine. But I imagine if I went and asked a random person on the street, I would get the most inane goddamn answer I've ever heard, and it'd be amazing. I watched a man get yelled out of a hospital because he refused to put on a mask as a patient there while screaming that it was a violation of his HIPAA rights, which I love every moment of that. Also, that what is it? The masks are killing us is also one of my close favorites.
Right.
Like, it's ruining my breathing. Listen, I've got severe asthma. It's not. It really isn't.
All right. Well, there was a shout out for chemtrails being the answer too here, but you chose the COVID virus, which it's topical, so that's good. Still, I would like to know though, what is your persona?
All right, I'm gonna offend another large group of people.
Here we go.
I'm not gonna judge you for how you choose to live your life in that instance. Go do whatever you want. As someone who's dressed in a mascot costume in in both Phoenix and New Mexico. No, I'm not putting that on. I don't care about it. I've admittedly, I think, have had a lot of people ruin that culture for me.
Yeah.
Because like I try not to, like I said, I'm not gonna hate you for doing what you want to do. If you're not hurting someone, go do it. I don't care. But then when you come up to me and say potentially some of the weirdest shit I've ever heard, and I'm like 14, I'm out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can walk it back a little bit here. You've gotten to the part of the funny questions where Sir Smiley asks a whole bunch of actual questions.
Oh,
And
hey.
we judge you for if you know these or not. So we have what, 7, 8 of them, and then there's another set of questions from another Amp-Carder. So here we go. Who discovered America?
I mean, that depends on how far back you want to go.
Rapid fire. Come on. Who discovered America?
Technically immigrants from Asia over a land bridge.
Okay. What does the D in D-Day stand for?
Someone who reads history. I could not tell you.
My research says it's Designation Day. Or Designated Day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds fairly accurate as Designated Day because it's a relatively large operation.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
No. Continue with the question.
When was the War of 1812?
It actually extended past 1812, despite some beliefs.
It did. It did. Can you name the year it ended?
1814.
1815. Close. Close. All right. Who fought in the French Indian War?
A shocking amount of British.
That's one of them.
A large number of native tribes who get labeled under one group. Just kind of fucked. Not as much French as you'd think.
But French were there.
The French were there.
All right. Who invented the automobile?
I actually don't know the name. I know Henry Ford is the popular answer. He did not invent it. That is incorrect. He popularized it and definitely found a way to expedite the process, but I could not tell you the name of the actual person who did it.
Carl Benz. What African country named its capital after a U.S. president?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I know some African history, but I do not know as much as I'd like to say.
So the answer we've got here is Liberia. Also, I want to go to the shout out the comments again. We've got a book story, a shocking amount of British, the James Baker story.
Listen, that's a decent chunk of world history. It's just a fun fact for you.
All right. Which U.S. Civil War battle had the most casualties in any single day fight?
It's not Gettysburg. I feel like I'm about to just throw out a battle that isn't part of the Civil War, but I want to say Bull Run.
That would be the Battle of Antietam.
Antietam or Antietam?
Antietam. Thank you. Sorry. Been a long day. Which pharaoh led the construction of the pyramids of Giza or Giza?
I don't know, but seeing as how Ramses and Cleopatra were super common names for every one of them, in fact, it goes back way too far.
It's a trick question. There was 3.
Oh yeah, because they took forever to fucking build.
Right. So Khufu's is the tallest. Kharifes is the one in the background, and Mankure is the one in the front as you're looking at them. Display whichever. Those are the Sir Smiley questions.
You can judge me.
You got one. You got one.
Hey, I got the who fought in 1812 question. Fuck you.
That's the one. You did it. So needs to know, and it would have been a conspiracy that you could have used. But are birds real?
No.
No.
When Reagan died, they replaced them all with robots.
This is the first time on KOK that we actually got it knocked down to when birds became unreal. Yeah, Reagan. Damon Abeli's back, and would like to know your favorite dog.
My favorite dog species, or my favorite dog that I've met.
What's your favorite dog species?
I'm a huge German Shepherd fan.
Okay.
Active dogs, fairly easy to train. As someone who used to actively run all the time, an insulting running partner because while you're doing your best and they're just trotting next to you.
That's fair.
Favorite dog I've ever had. My previous dog, Baby, she passed away after 16 years. Great dog. Best friend through several moves.
Yeah. We miss Baby, for sure. Speaking of dogs, Sir Smiley's back. Hot dogs. Sandwich or taco?
I'm gonna say sandwich.
Okay.
I don't think a sandwich is necessarily defined by the fact that it's open on all four sides.
Okay. I'm fine with it. The discussion of a hot dog being a sandwich is something I'm backing. I'm for this, and I feel that a hot dog starts off as a taco, and as soon as that bottom lip of the bun breaks, it's now a sandwich.
I was gonna say also as someone who's put way more sandwich ingredients in my hot dog than taco ingredients.
That's it. There you go. That's fair. Damon Unbelieves back has a serious question, but it made it into the funny section. Why are you so mean?
Oh God. There's a lot of people to blame there, I guess. Number one is myself.
That's fair.
I'm a fairly pessimistic person. I don't see a lot of the bright sides of people or things. I grew up with a father who was a reservist for like 27 years. And with that comes a very dark sense of humor.
That's fair.
My mother is also a veteran. Same vein. My mom's family is predominantly Irish Catholic, and I am very not. So just a general disdain for for tradition and authority.
Right.
Also, just chalk it up to being, while I was bullied, but not super bullied as a kid. My last name and my height were the topic for a lot of discussion, and never was a huge fan of it. And it filled me with sarcastic responses to damn near everything.
That's fair. But you do have great sarcastic responses, and as the comments are saying, you're very well liked. You're a very nice person.
That's shocking.
So we have 4 more questions left. This one, though, isn't a question off the jump, but there's a story that people want to hear. And you were assaulted once by a 3-year-old. Xander the Reaper would like to know if you could tell us that story.
So that was two years ago, I think. We were making swords for Ren Fair because I didn't have a lot of volunteers for it that year in Dom's house. And his kid, like fresh home from daycare or wherever the hell he was, Cole and Nakia come home. Nakia's holding some plastic crown thing that somehow Cole ends up with. He just walks in the room and starts beating me with it out of nowhere. Like, I'd done nothing. I literally said nothing to him at that point. He just walked in the room and assaulted me. That's also when he became my page, by the way. Because kudos to that kid for seeing someone, I'm not a big guy, but compared to a toddler, I'm pretty good. 3 times that kid's size, and he just walked in and started immediately hitting me in the leg with a toy. No fear, because I
No fear.
snatched it out of his hand and was like, "Hey, cut your crap!" Dead stare at me,
Yeah.
like I'm the one with the problem.
Right? Yeah. Don will tell stories all the time where Colt like does something and you'd think he learned a lesson, but then he just tries harder the second time.
Oh no, he didn't stop when I took he hit me. He physically punched me and then left.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Just I took his toy. He stared at me like I was a jackass, hit me, and then walked out of the room.
Right.
And I wish I had that kind of courage, because I'm not a big proponent of hitting your kids, but I'll think about it while that kid's hitting me.
All right, last 3 questions. They're all from Morgan, and these are the toughest ones, at least for me to say. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be, and why would it be Freddie Mercury?
I mean, Freddie Mercury is still pretty close to the top of that list.
Right? Yeah.
That man, outside of being an icon, was also just batshit crazy, and that's what made him the icon he is. And it would be amazing to see someone with that kind of insane dedication to something, to the point where they make sense to no one else. No one understands what that guy's talking about. He had a dude with, I can't remember if it's a PhD or a master's in an advanced science working with him, and that guy's fucking nuts.
Okay. If you could meet any fantasy character, who would it be?
Fantasy character. Are we talking like traditional fantasy?
Any character, let's say fictional. Any fictional character.
Gonna go Batman. Let's see if I can make it as Boy Wonder. I mean, I'm 26, so it's Man Wonder at this point. But
Man Wonder.
Throw me in some tights.
If Sir Randall doesn't make Man Wonder the James Baker story post in this comment section, I would be very upset.
And fucking throw me out there looking like a cookie dough tube that's about to pop.
I love it. All right. Last question. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
Listen, I really got to pee right now, so that question is a lot of absurdity. Let's go with 53.
Okay, 53. Fantastic. Redbeard, if you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll go say our goodbyes.
Not a problem.
Dragon Spine, or anyone that's listening, the latest V9 survey is out. It deals with Paladin, Anti-Paladin, and opening it up and what it would take to do so. Anyone who's also paying attention, Burning Lands is having their end rain May 22nd. They're going to have tournaments, competitions, and their coronation. There's going to be 2 nightings at that. If you can and you are feel safe, vaccinated, and can wear the masks, please go or support that in any way you can. Congratulations to Dragonspine. Queen still has opened Dragonspine with some standardization to regulations you got to have to do that, but congratulations, you're opened. Other than that, Dragonspine should check out the Champion and Regent and Monarch challenges for this reign. They're posted in Discord and the Facebook page. If you have any questions for those, you can reach out to the Monarchy team and they'll fill you in. Redbeard, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It was a blast.
Not a problem.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I've just opened up a whole bunch of people disliking me.
Don't worry, we're not in a dystopian future where downvotes mean anything. So you're fine as of right now.
Fun fact, I just started watching that series.
Yeah, see, someone caught on. Fantastic. Well, viewers, until next week, which will be a nightly chat with Sir Baihu. This has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak. Bye.